Alright, I'm going to be trying to change my actuator for my heater in my 2014 Dodge Challenger. I thought it might have been a thermostat. I was trying to diagnose some things after I saw a few videos, and I did the thermostat first. I changed that one out. Y'all might have seen that in the last video if you're having the same problems. I got a new thermostat now. It's a plus side, but it didn't fix my problem. My air is the only thing blowing. My heat's not blowing at all. I saw one of the videos on how you diagnose it is that you hit the circulation button here, and you would get a knocking sound. Well, I didn't get a knocking sound, but after I saw some of those videos, I realized that about a month before I started having problems, when I would hit my circulation button, it would just blink. I didn't really think much of it because it was still working at the time, and then it was kind of warm, so I didn't really need the heat. We're in South Carolina, and now in November it's finally starting to get a little cooler. We got one hard frost day the other day, so I was like, I might need to go ahead and fix this. So checked the thermostat, fixed it, or put a new one on. Wasn't that. But now that I saw a couple of those videos, I'm realizing that mine does not knock, but that right there might be an indicator for some of y'all. So 2014 Dodge Challenger SXT. If you don't have any knocking sounds, but this does happen, it might be your actuator. If it works for me, then this will help. All right, so I pulled this up first. Pretty easy. Didn't need any tools. I did that just with my hand, but just be gentle with these clips right here, because those can snap off, but I just pulled those right out. Same thing with this one. This one has 2 clamps in it, so I just put a little flat head in there. I actually used a 5-in-1. Stuck it in there and pried that out. Now I'm going to take the bolts off, or the screws off. I think they're 10 millimeters. You got one here. Excuse all the dust and dirt. Whenever I finish with this, I'm going to clean this bad boy back up again. But I've been working a lot this week. Excuse me, but I think these are 10 millimeter. Either way, I'm going to screw these out here in a second, and I should be able to start getting up underneath the dashboard. All right, get out of the sunlight. The dash part, you just pry that out too also. But there is a screw down there at the bottom, so make sure you go up under the bottom of that dash cover so you don't snap that clip part right there off, because there's a screw down at the bottom, so you want to get that out too. And I'm gonna just take these out. This is my ignition, my trunk release right there. And then what is that? I don't know which one that is. Actually, I don't know what that is that's connected right there. I'm gonna see if I can take these off, so I can just take this completely off and get it out of the way. But I know that's the trunk button, right? Trunk release right there. I'll take that one off too. All right, so I got that cover off. It's just 2 release switches. You got a little release switch on that. I just used the flathead screwdriver, press that in, pulled it off. Same thing for that trunk release. You got the release switch right there. I pressed the flathead on it, pulled it off. Got this in here, and I think these are the 10 millimeters. I said 10 millimeters earlier on those screws, but those are just screws. I think these are 10 millimeter bolts. I'm gonna use the ratchet to get this off, and I believe this is called a heat panel. Once again, I'm not a mechanic, so I don't know, but I think this is called a heat panel. Keeps that heat from getting out into that dashboard cover. I'm gonna take that off, and I think once I take that off, I'll be able to see my actuator. All right, and that is the heater panel. It was 10 millimeter screws. Excuse me. I just used the ratchet set and ratchet those right on out. I use the typical Husky 10 millimeter. Basic stuff. Took that right on out, and now I got access to underneath that dash panel. All right, so it is one more step that'll make it a little bit easier. I tried to go around it because it's hard to see, but that's one actuator right there, and there's another one that's up in here. It's hard to see. There's another one that's up in here, but I'm gonna see if I can be able to show that a little bit more clearly. And part of me being able to show that a little bit more clearly, I think we'll be taking off this carpet right here. So it is 2 plastic clips in this carpet up under here. This just holds like a bottom, you know, for the dash cover. So I'm gonna take this carpet covering off, and then I should be able to get up in there a little bit better. Those put up a little bit of a fight. They were jammed in there pretty good, so I ended up using a pair of pliers and just kind of squeezing a little bit, snatching it down, and I was able to get both of them out. So I didn't break them. I should be able to get them back in there pretty easily. But now I should have access to the entire bottom of this panel. All right, turn the light on so y'all can see a little bit here. That's the first one right here. That one is easier to get to, and at the bottom, But the one that I've been seeing people have trouble with, which is the one that I'm gonna gamble on, is a little bit farther back, right there. You can see that right there. That's the one we going for. Looks like it's 2 screws in it, and you have to take the attachment out of the top of it. So take the attachment out of the top first, take the 2 screws off. And they say that that's the one that looks like it's closest to the heater core, and that's the one that was giving a lot of people trouble from what I saw on social media, YouTube and Google basically. But I'm gonna try that one. I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna go to the store and get another one, and I'm gonna put it in, and I'm gonna hope for the best. All right, so all I can say is that I hope that this is my issue, because I got it out, and you can see I got quite a few nice little bumps and bruises to show for it, but it was a monster to get out of there, especially for somebody that's a little bit larger like myself. But it has 3 screws here, 1, 2, and 3 up top. I didn't realize that one was up there at first, so when I thought I had it out, I snatched it, and that one was still stuck in there, so I had to go back and get that one out. But that's not the kicker. The kicker is that these screws are hex nuts. They're not regular Phillips head or flat head screws. They're hex nut. So why do they have that in there? My assumption is just so it could be a little bit harder. I don't know, because they're hex nuts. Luckily, I had a little small hex nut bit that I could insert into a screwdriver head, and I was able to maneuver around the top of the steering column and get them out. But it's a monster, so hopefully this is it. I'm gonna go to the store and buy one, and we'll see what happens. All right, so this is the old one that I got out that I showed in the last frame. That's the old one, and this is the new one that I just bought. Paid about 31 bucks for it, right from AutoZone, $31. It's a little bit different in structure, but as you can see, if you take these and line them up, they are identical in the framing. So those 3 screws go on, 2 in the bottom, 1 in the top. And this gear, they said that you gotta line these up correctly too. I guess if you don't line it up right, it won't go in from the looks of it. But you can see that this has a little groove there. Same thing for this one. There. So wish me luck. All right, it's the next day. It got a little dark last night, but I'm pulling up after I just gave it a test run. I got it on the defrost vent right now. Turning on the front face vent. Going right on me, so I can definitely feel that it's heat coming out. I leave pretty early in the morning sometimes, so I need that defrost to be working. That was my biggest thing, is that my defrost wasn't working. So I think I'm back in action. One last tip that I will give is those hex screws that went back inside that actuator up top, they are really hard. They were hard to get out, but they are even harder to put back in. I'm actually just gonna hope and pray for the best. I actually lost 2 of them. They dropped down inside the floorboard area, and I couldn't find them. I spent probably 45 minutes just looking for screws. I actually used the magnet head on the extension piece of a screwdriver, and I just kind of wandered down near the bottom and tried to get anything to collect, and I couldn't. So I have no idea where those 2 screws went. So like I said, I'm just gonna hope and pray for the best that they don't, go somewhere they're not supposed to go. I'm hoping that they just fell straight down, and I just can't find them because they're like under this actual column somewhere down here, because that actuator sits up in this area towards the back. So I was up under it. I'm a bigger guy, so I was up under this area, kind of upside down, trying to get that last screw in, and I couldn't, and it fell. I tried it again, and I got very close, and it fell again. I could not find either one of them, but luckily I was able to secure it from the bottom right screw hole, and I believe that that was probably the most secure part, because I just gave up, and I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and try it, and I turned it on, and it worked. I said I'm rolling with it. Hopefully it pans out. If not, car's paid for, I'll go with the flow. I call that success.